Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Pixelated Sausage Show. Hi. How are y'all doing? Hopefully. Well, I'm, of course, your host, Marcus Nez. Hi. I've got some games to talk about as we get closer to wrapping up this year. Of course, the Game Awards happened last week. I recorded pre-Game Awards, and they've happened since. I'm not going to react or talk about them here. I think I'm going to do a sausage dump for the Patreon as the first of what will become a weekly regular dumpage of sausage. And by that, I mean just random thoughts, the home of tier lists and that. And if you'd like to see what that's all about, patreon.com/pxs for more of that jazz. But I've been preoccupied with thinking about changes to how certain content is made and the return of streaming on Twitch, not YouTube, because I feel way more free on Twitch to just hang out, futz around, not worry about structure and quality to an extent. When I stream on YouTube, I feel way more inclined to make sure I fall into a bunch of different guidelines I place upon myself. The stream has to be this long. It has to have little to no downtime. Don't want to waste too much time in the pause menu. I don't want to distract myself too much. I want it to be these nice, clean gameplay sections. And when I'm streaming on YouTube, if I am playing through a game, I feel like it is impossible for me to play any of the game outside of the stream. But if I'm on Twitch, who cares? If I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 on Twitch and I want to play some more off stream, I'll do that. And it's fine if I miss it. You don't need to see the whole playthrough, because I'm not even sure how long stuff lasts on Twitch. I think it's 30, 60, 90 days, somewhere in that range, depending on your affiliateness. So I'm not entirely sure about that, but on Twitch I feel way more free to just treat it as a casual thing, which is what streaming should be. It shouldn't be a non-casual thing. That's what produced videos are for. That's what, not saying the podcast isn't casual, but stuff like that is for. And with the changes I am planning for Attack the Backlog, and potentially this show as well, though it really has no effect on this show, but more so Attack the Backlog, that would be coming out after the current finished, in quotations. By finished, I mean the games that have already been played and recorded the episodes for. But after the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order episodes and the Hi-Fi Rush episodes, the next game, whatever that may be, I haven't started anything yet. I'm ready to play a big game like a Witcher, Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate, Dragon's Dogma, Assassin's Creed, many of the ones I have not yet played, etc. I don't think I'm quite ready to just jump into the deep end. I think I want to dip my toes in with the new structure and layout of episodes. But with that, I'm just feeling more free to do this, do that, add things here, add things there. I am still, I've talked about it plenty of times already, but I am still planning to bring back the anime podcast on Amazingly Baka. And I'm feeling way closer to that than I've been in a long time. And what I think I might, I don't want to say celebrate the return of that with, but I've been thinking about for a few months now, finally tackling the one big show I've yet to watch any of. I think it's the only big show that I've yet to watch any of. There are smaller but still biggest shows that I've watched a little of or not any of. I think of Fate's Day, Nights. I'm not sure if it's just Fate's Day and then there are multiple different Fate's Day, blah, 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 blah. But I know there's a lot of Fate's Day stuff and a lot of Fate's Day, not tangent shows, but what do you call them? Not off shows, side shows. Sideshow Bob. No. What do you call them? The side stories. They're not side stories though. It's the when you have something and then you make something from it and you call it that. Gosh darn it. Thank you, brain, for working. But I know there is something that I saw during the Crunchyroll sales, which I realized they, in their acquisition of right stuff, when you purchase stuff from the Crunchyroll store, it still comes up as right stuff on your credit card, which, all right. But they had some decent deals during the holiday sale. But there was one series that I didn't even realize was part of the Fate's Day world, but it is, and that was a reminder that there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of Sword Art Online stuff as well. But anyway, the big series that I've yet to watch any of that I'm thinking about tackling finally is Bleach. Heard many great things about it. Never seen a single episode. It is a show that has evaded me for the longest time. And I think I'm ready. There's a part of me too that looks at Naruto and thinks, should I give this another shot and watch the sub? Because the dub, I hated that show. And because I hated the characters, didn't care for the story, maybe because I hated the characters and the English dub, the fact that that show is more than any other show so overwhelmed with filler episodes. I think it's maybe 45%. It's a lot. I just had a miserable time with that show. But yeah, I'm thinking about finally starting Bleach soonish. And I thought that would be a good thing to do if/when I bring back the anime podcast. So that's a potential thing, but I've been very preoccupied recently with working on site related stuff and future content, changes of content, playing around with streaming, making sure Twitch works as intended. Seems like it has been. I've done a few streams here and there that have been just nice casual streams. Played some Fortnite. They brought back the Ninja Turtle skins in the store, and I had a whole bunch of V-Bucks left over from, I think, a lot of playing Save the World mode and earning them there. So I had about 11,000 and change. So I got every single piece of Ninja Turtle content, which wiped me of all my V-Bucks except for maybe 300. The only content I didn't get was some music pack. I think it was just a singular song for the music game in Fortnite, which I would have put real money in to get it just to have every piece of TMNT content. But I listened to the sample of the song and it's not anything I know of. I'm not sure if it's from Mutants Mayhem, if it's from the movie or the TV show, but I wasn't impressed by it. If it was a remix of the original animated show's theme song or the 2013 Nickelodeon 3D CGI animated series, I'd be down, because that had a great new take on the Ninja Turtle theme. But the one that is in Fortnite is not worth putting any real money in. So I am now more interested in Fortnite than I was because I can play as Donatello. And my first game as Donatello, I won. Playing a battle royale game that was just a normal one where people could build. I'm not really sure how matchmaking works. Do they do any kind of skill-based matchmaking, level-based matchmaking? How many bots are inside of these games, depending on level, depending on that kind? It's a confusing mess. I got 13 kills. Did a lot of third partying because one of the things I don't like about Fortnite is that they show you on screen where footsteps are coming from, where there is an attack going on, and I think that makes it a lot easier to third party and to find other people in a way that is frustrating. I don't like it. Maybe if you hear people shooting, they can give you those on-screen indicators, but I don't think they should tell you where footsteps are coming from. If someone is hacking away with their pickaxe, sure, give me some indicator, because that's a loud thing that maybe you shouldn't be doing if you want to be discreet. Just walking around, I don't know about that. Also playing a bit of Call of Duty. I think I'm already burnt out on that. It's exhausting. And yeah, streaming has been enjoyable. A little bit I've done, and hopefully it'll become a regular little thing over on the Twitch again. That is twitch.com. Or Twitch. Is it Twitch? Do they have twitch.com or is it twitch.tv? Whatever it is, twitch.whatever. If there is a dot whatever, they should get that /PX sausage. But to finally mention the games I've played this past week, we've got Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, World War Z, the Sin City Apocalypse episode, Pinball FX, the Williams Pinball Volume 8 collection, which includes Black Knight 2000, Bonsai Run, and Earthshaker, and then Road Maintenance Simulator 2 plus Winter Services, and then also Edge of Sanity. I don't know why I said and, like that was the end of it. We also have Edge of Sanity and Plastomorphosis. But before all that, just want to mention a very quick piece of news from BGC. Amazon renews video game anthology series Secret Level for Season 2. This is very pleasant, happy news because the series has done clearly well enough to warrant a second season, and hopefully that means it's done well enough to warrant a physical release, because I have not watched any of Secret Level. I'm very interested in it. I want to watch it, but I'm not going to watch commercials on Amazon, and I'm not going to pay to not have commercials on Amazon, because I think it is a bullshit thing they did. I don't want all this other extra shit you give me with my Prime membership. I think they did something recently with Grubhub or something, no delivery fees or this or that. I don't want that. I don't want Amazon Music. I don't want Amazon cloud storage for pictures or whatever other fucking bullshit I have. I don't want the fucking Kindle library. I don't engage with anything. I like it for the free shipping, and I liked it for the video. Now you have Freevee for your fucking stupid bullshit ad crap. Don't fucking do this. More fucking, just fuck you. So I have not watched anything since then. The only thing I watched with ads was Invincible, because it happened between the seasons. The last season was a half measure thing, so I did end up just dealing with it for those. But post that, haven't watched Fallout, haven't watched The Boys season 4, haven't watched anything because I'm sticking to my guns and refusing to engage with Amazon Prime Video, and I'm not paying it. I'm not sure how much. Is it $5? That's not that much, right? But it's on top of what I already. Fuck you. No, fuck you. Let me get rid of something else in exchange for it. Take away Amazon Music. I never engage with it. I never use it. Take away any of this other extra bullshit that you're just giving me, that I'm not being charged for, that I don't want and don't use. Don't take away something I've been getting for free all this time for free in quotations with the membership. Anywho, let's get on to what I've been playing already. But cool, you know, secret level. Hopefully we get a physical release. I can't remember if there was officially a physical release for Fallout announced or not. Hopefully there will be. And Amazon's been okay with their popular stuff. They've put out the Jack Ryan stuff physically, the Reacher stuff I think as well, and of course The Boys seasons 1 through 3. They haven't done the side story of that. There is a spin-off. There it is. Spin-off. You spin me right around, baby, right around until it gets it out of my head and fucking into this gosh darn mic. That's the word I was thinking of. The term I was thinking of. But whatever that spin-off was of The Boys, which is important because it is a bridge between season 3 and 4. I don't love that thing, but that hasn't been announced for physical yet. But we have 1 through 3. So hopefully we'll get secret level. But Amazon can be weird. And by weird, I mean I don't understand how we haven't gotten any of the Lord of the Rings stuff even announced for physical. That seems like a no-brainer. Unless there's some weird rights thing with all of that jazz, because it's a weird situation. I don't even understand it. But anywho, let us finally get on to what I've been playing. And I did stream some of these. I streamed Legacy of Kain and then World War Z. And the archive's still there on the Twitch if you want to watch me. But this is my first time playing Legacy of Kain. Let's start off with that. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. I never played these games back in the day. My only experience, knowledge with the series as a whole is with Blood Omen 2, which I'm pretty sure is in the same universe. Because you play as Kain in that, I think. Because that's sure as hell what the dude in Blood Omen 2 looks like. Is the dude who is Kain in this game. And that opening cinematic. Blood Omen 2, awesome game. Plays a vampire. You can inhabit other humans, take over their bodies, which I think is always a fun mechanic in games. Probably doesn't hold up that well. Not sure though. I think back in the day it was a solid 7 out of 10 from a lot of outlets. But I had a good time with it. But in Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, just play the first one. You play as Raziel, I think. And you are one of Kain's minions. But after you grow wings and you become more special than him, he's like, fuck you, I'm ripping your wings off and I'm throwing you into this fucking spiritual hellhole thing. And you get all disintegrated. You lose your lower jaw. And then the game starts there. It is another remaster from Aspyr, and with that, you should already be aware of a few things. This is really just a cleaning up, and that's it, with maybe some modern-ish controls on that, but it's just a visual cleanup. You can, with a pushing in of the right analog stick, see the original visuals, and it's a decent up-res, decent remaster. Looks alright, plays moderately well, but it is a game of its age. So it is very vague and very obtuse in ways that can frustrate people who are unfamiliar with the series, and I'm sure younger generations, younger gamers would be extra frustrated with the lack of any kind of guidance. And I'm not sure why someone who doesn't really have any knowledge of these games would be interested in them. So this is really a game for people who grew up during that era and either played these games in the past or remembers them and never got around to them. I fall into that latter camp. I played it for about an hour and change. I got a little stuck and had to restart because I didn't realize what was going on. My own stupidity, but the game also not being the best at explaining things, and sometimes feeling like I maybe, or you can skip over important stuff, and then you're just screwed because you can't go back and hear what you missed. But the world is comprised of two different planes of existence, I guess. In the spirit realm, and then I think it would just be the human realm, the regular realm. And you go back and forth between these two. What is weird about it is that the way the game works doesn't quite make sense, in that you can't interact with objects when you're in the spirit realm, but they're still there. They're still tangible. For instance, giant boxes that you can move around so they can reach new areas. You can't interact with them when you're in the spirit realm. You have to get into the human realm to move it. And you could say, well, that makes sense because you're in the spirit realm, so it's not really there, but it's still impeding your movement. It's still tangible. You can't walk through it when you're in the spirit realm, so it's still a physical object. Why can't you move it? You can't open doors when you're in the spirit realm. And yes, I realized after fiddling around with things that there are these little things of light that's where you can change between the two realms. And you just go back to the human realm, and then you can interact with things. But if you fall into a bit of water and maybe some other things, you'll be sent back to the spirit realm. It just was a weird mechanic that I didn't think added a lot, or I didn't really understand the benefit of ever being in the spirit realm. I got to a section in the game where I needed to go into the spirit realm to reach a new height, to climb up to this area to get to a room that was locked otherwise, and I got in there. And I did some room-based puzzles to open up the gate in there, and then I got back out to the area I was just in, and I didn't understand why I wasted my time doing that, because I didn't obtain any object. So it just felt like I did a bunch of bullshit for nothing there. And maybe there was something I missed, because again, the game is obtuse, it's vague. And it gave me one little tip that said, hey, just when you're in the spirit realm, you can see paths that aren't there in the human realm. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm here. I don't really see anything really. Oh. I was excited to finally check it out, but I think it just goes to show that many of the games from that era, we look back at them fondly, but how many of them really, really hold up, I'm not sure. When you're a new player, if you're going back to them and you played them and you have that memory, that nostalgia for it, and you have some kind of recollection of how things work and don't need a guide, yeah, I could see the appeal. And again, I always stress this. I love these games, these remasters, for preservation's sake. So I never want to see these things cease to be a thing, but I still wonder, who are they really for? Who is the audience, and does the work, the time and money spent into making these, justify themselves through however many sales they make? I hope that is the case. We see enough of these that I'm wanting to believe that is the case, because we've got the Tomb Raider remasters. We're going to get that second collection soonish. The various Star Wars ones. We recently had Bounty Hunter, also from Aspyr. So Aspyr is doing a lot of this, and I appreciate it, even if sometimes how they do it is janky. I remember the issues with the Battlefront games at the start of or at the launch. But yeah, played it for a bit. I'm not so sure about it. Next, we have World War Z, Sin City Apocalypse episode. Apocalypse, fuck you word. This is the 9th episode in the game, recently added, that takes place in Vegas. You and your squad are trying to get to the Palermo Hotel and Casino to escape. Takes place over 3 different sections, like most of the episodes. A few episodes have 4 sections, but I think the vast majority have 3. And this was my first time playing the game in a long time, and even back then I only played through the New York episode, and that was it. So I haven't been back in a while. The thing that stood out to me first and foremost, there are a shitload of characters. And I think it's just a skin. I don't think there's anything unique about any of the characters outside of the way they look, because you can set up your class and the weapons and all of that separate to how you look. There's so many characters, and I don't know why. I guess they give you new characters with each episode, so there have just been so many over time, but it's overwhelming. There are maybe 30 skins or something in the game, which is insane. But the Vegas episode was solid. Returning to the game after a long absence, it's a solid little Left 4 Dead like. The main takeaway or thing that makes it feel like World War Z, if you've seen the movie, is the fact that you'll have these sections where hordes of zombies are attacking you and you have to defend. And they do what they did in the movie, which was the one unique thing of the zombies in that movie, which is getting to walls and basically creating mountains, anthills out of their fellow zombies so that they could reach the top of the wall and attack you. So you have those sections, which is kind of fun, but it's a lot of exploring these areas, completing little tasks, fighting zombies as they come at you, encountering special zombies every now and again. It is third person as opposed to first person in Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or similar games. Feels good, runs well, looks good. One of the things that is in the Vegas episode that may not be in other ones is the occasional sandstorm. And when you're in these sandstormy areas, your vision will gradually become impaired. So the screen will become very dusty. And so you'll have to hold down, I think, the X button on Xbox to wipe your vision and clear the screen. But it's an alright thing. Your AI teammates do an okay job, at least on the easiest difficulty, which is what I was playing it on. And yeah, it's a game, I think, more so than even Left 4 Dead and what I remember of Back 4 Blood, feels really, really geared towards cooperative play, in that you do have these various classes that have their perks that really work well with other players. So you can have someone playing as a medic, someone focused on assault, support, demolitions, so on and so forth. And if you find a good group of people to play with, you can build your team around each other in a way that I think would be really, really satisfying, more so than in those similar games where it's really just, hey, you're all the same. You just have your guns. You're all the same. Left 4 Dead, you look different, but you're not different in any way. You can all do the same things, and that's fine. That simplifies the game so that you don't really have to think about anything. In World War Z, there's way more thinking involved because you don't want to have a team of 4 medics. That wouldn't make sense. You just need the one, and then other people can focus on other aspects. And when you get all that stuff working together and everything clicks, I'm sure it'd be very satisfying. But as a solo player, it's all right. It's all right. But the AI is doing a fine enough job. Unless it's Big Banks or whatever his name was in that level. What a fucking idiot. Kept getting downed. Moron. But I had a right time with it. It took maybe an hour or so to get through the whole episode. So, to get it for $8. Does it? I think that's a decent deal. I'm in the camp that I always say that if you want to judge something based on an hourly whatever, $10 per hour is a good enough way of gauging that to me. So in my opinion, a 6-hour game costing $60, if it's a quality 6 hours, fine by me. That's definitely not the majority opinion, seemingly, amongst the vocals out there who want 60 hours for their $60. We differ. But that is the World War Z Sin City Apocalypse episode. Next, we have the Williams Pinball Volume 8 collection for Pinball FX. Again, includes Black Knight 2000, Bonsai Run, and Earthshaker. They're all solid tables. Some good music in them, good vibes. I think it's crazy that they default the Bonsai Run table to showing the entire table. If you don't know what the Bonsai Run table is, it's a unique table where, in addition to because these are based on real pinball tables, in addition to the general or the usual typical plein air of a pinball table, where you have the more key art and the score on the back, the backboard, I guess you could call it. Instead of having that there's an additional pinball area. And if you do the right things, the ball will end up there, and then you'll be playing pinball on that screen, on that table. It's a really cool setup and is reminiscent of where video games took pinball, like Sonic Spinball or Mario Pinball. Well, it wasn't Mario Pinball, it was just pinball on NES. Where if you hit the ball in the right space, you'd end up in a new area and play pinball there. It's cool, but defaulting to seeing the entire table makes it, even on a large TV, look so small, the play area, that it's hard to really gauge what is going on. You can change the angle to focus on one table, which is nice. It was just crazy when the game first loaded up and I saw the entire thing. I'm like, this is horrible. Imagine, I'm not sure if Pinball FX is on Switch, but if it is, imagine playing on the Switch handheld. It's like freaking, I can't see a damn thing. But the tables are solid. I like getting the real tables because it's more nostalgic and reminiscent of going to arcades for me. But I still don't love the way Pinball FX feels anymore. And with these ones, I can go into Pinball Arcade and check out those tables in comparison to how they feel and look in there. And it's just, the vibe is better. It feels better. It feels more true to life. I just like it more. It doesn't look as good in terms of a technology. It's way more aliased, and the audio seems to be of a lower quality in Pinball Arcade. You got really nice, clean, crisp audio in Pinball FX, and then Pinball Arcade, it feels like this muddled, low quality MP3 that they're playing for you. But I still just prefer the vibes of that game. Of course, you can't get those tables or really anything for Pinball Arcade anymore. I have everything for that game. I got all the DLC before it was delisted, so I have that, but that's not the case for the vast majority of people. So if you want to play these games, this is where you got to go, and it's decent. I had more fun with these tables than with some of the recent licensed and themed tables. Yeah. But then we have Road Maintenance Simulator 2 plus Winter Services. This is a game where you play as a road maintenance person. And unlike the last game of this ilk I played, Highway Simulator, Highway Police Simulator, whatever it was called, that was just straight up janky and broken and busted and buggy and just a mess. This is seemingly playable until it broke for me and wouldn't let me progress. So I jumped into the career, did my little initial drive around the area with my not my siren, my flasher on, my warning light, whatever it was, and went around the area to find things that needed to be fixed. So I found some rails that needed to be fixed, some rest areas that needed to be cleaned, some various damage to the road that I would have to do some maintenance on, of course. And when I finished that, I went to the little cleaning, refueling station, washed my car, and then I had to refuel it. I tried to interact with the pump so that I could refuel my car. It would not let me take the nozzle out to do anything. I kept trying to interact with it a million times. I moved my car all over the place, my truck all over the place to try and figure out how to get it to work with it. Nothing I did could make it work. So I saved there and thought maybe I could reload there. Realized you can't save mid-mission, and it started me at the very beginning of the whole tutorial, the whole career. So that frustrated me. But I did it all again. I took my drive and saw all the things that needed fixing, and then washed my car again, got it ready to be refueled, wouldn't work again. So it, unlike the other game, ran well. It was smooth. Everything was fine. It wasn't amazing or anything, but it was working. And then it stopped. So I have nothing else to say about it, because what else is there to say? I can't, if I can't fuel my car and advance the career, I can't do anything. So what the fuck am I doing wrong? Help me, someone. That is Road Maintenance Simulator 2 plus Winter Services. I can't speak to any more of it. Edge of Sanity is a side-scrolling Eldritch horror Cthulhu-esque survival management game where you work for some base out in, I think it is Alaska, and stuff goes a little airy. You end up stranded in a camp with one of your fellow workers, and then you go out on expeditions to find fellow people to bring back to camp who can help out with things and get supplies and so on. And I played for about an hour. It was all right, but it felt way more linear than I was hoping for. I wanted it to feel a bit more open-ended, where I would create this base camp, manage it, find people to help out with certain things, craft supplies, and so on, and go on. But it feels way more guided, way more narrative focus, and I just wasn't quite jiving with it. It's not bad, but it's very stealth-based. And when you do end up in combat, it feels bad. But if you end up in combat and you're not stuck between a person, you can just run away and go to another area to get out of harm's way. There was an instance where I just picked up a bunch of flares and I had to use them. So they just spawn in enemies out of nothing, out of thin air. And they kept attacking me. They already aggroed on me, even though I didn't move. And I couldn't. I was like, what's going on? Oh, I need the flares, I guess. How do I equip them again? What do I do? And I ended up dying there. And it was just very frustrating because it just felt cheap to teach me about flares in a way that fucked me and made me lose a bunch of progress there. But it may open up after a bit more time, but my initial impression was just that of, this seems okay, but I want more out of this. I want more freedom. But right now it's just go on these expeditions, get some supplies, and that's that. So I might play some more, but I went to that area again to figure out to try and get through it. 'Cause the first time I died, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just picked up all these flares. I'm like, I'll use these if I need them, and then I want to get to this door, and then they spawn all these things. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Leave me alone. And I tried to run past them, but when they aggro on you, because you can sneak by them and they'll be on a different plane, so you can walk past them, where they can sneak past you if there's something that's sensitive to hearing but can't see you. Then when they see you and they aggro against you, then you're both on the same plane and you can't run past them, you can't jump over them, and they just attack you until you die. And I was like, oh fuck. And then I went through it again and I was like, wait, how do I, the flare didn't auto equip, where do I get it? I have my rock equipped and I threw a rock at fucking the ground, and it's like, oh great. And then they fucking kill me. So I might give it another shot, but I'm not super invested in it so far. I don't think it's bad, but it's not particularly good either. It feels like it would fall into that kind of 5 to 6 out of 10 range. Probably closer to 6 out of 10, but just not. I'm not a huge Cthulhu Eldritch Horror person anyway. And the last one is Plastomorphosis, which is my vibe in that it's going after that classic horror game feel of the PlayStation 1 era, Resident Evil, Silent Hill. Tank controls you can play with if you want, or there are mono controls. The problem with it, because you start off, you're in like a biker helmet, you end up in this train station, and you're going around doing the traditional stuff. There's a computer. There are computers around the area that you can save as opposed to typewriters. No limit to saving. And you're going around collecting objects. There are doors you can't get into just yet because on the handle they have a heart shape or this, that. It's very Resident Evil in that way. And I like all that. The problem is there is a visual style to it that they went overboard with. It's not just a CRT type filter thing, but distortion, ghosting, noise, all of this pixelation as well, that makes it such a muddy mess to look at. I understand going for a stylized effect, but it's not just going for a PlayStation 1 look to it. It's overdoing the, hey, you're playing this on an old busted TV that has this going on and that going on, and it looks funky in this way and that way. You can go into the settings and reduce the noise of the picture and reduce the pixelization, but doing all of that doesn't change the way it looks that much, because I turned it down as much as possible, and it still just was this really distorted mess that I can't imagine playing for extended periods of time, because it's just so muddy. It's over stylized to hell. I think it has a general good look to it, but it's just too much. It's way, way, way too much. And so after playing it for close to an hour, now I was jiving with it. Decent voice acting. You have these QR codes you can interact with that are essentially the notes you find in games it's cribbing from. So it's doing a lot of things, but with a modernish twist. So instead of a typewriter, again, you got a computer. Instead of finding notes around the world, you're finding QR codes, which is a little weird, but the visuals just fucking ruin it for me. So that's a shame. That is Plastomorphosis, and that is it for this here episode. So that will do it for this here episode of the Pixelated Sausage Show. Once again, I am Marcus, and as y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, weekly drops in the form of the sausage dump, a few fancy schmancy rolls over on the Discord, as well as a private Discord channel called the Cool Kids Club. Or you could just support me if that is your fancy. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have both a wonderful rest of your day, a lovely rest of your week, and a wonderful weekend. But for now, adios, arrivederci,